What popular movie plot hole annoys you? So some guy sneaks into the Gotham Stock Exchange and performs a bunch of illegal trades. So now Bruce Wayne is broke. So of course that means they should turn off his power the same day. Suicide Squad. Why the duck did you make the team? Just to send them in with the military? Why would you put Harley Quinn in a team to take down people like Superman? Why would you say the entire purpose of the team is to do Black Ops missions and then send them on a mission that has no need for Black Ops type secrecy? Duck this whole movie. So in the Casper movie, the ghost psychologist father of the lead girl dies, falling into a deep hole just outside a bar. He comes back as a ghost to the mansion, presumably with his now dead body in this hole. Fortunately for him, Casper has a bring back to life potion and machine that magically turns ghosts into living people. So Ghost Dad enters the machine as a ghost and comes out as a living flesh bag. What happened to the corpse? It didn't go into the machine with the dad. It's still in the hole. What happens when the cops find it and ID the ghost psychologist? Will they go to inform his daughter, only to find him alive and well? How do they explain the sudden duplicate dead body of the living guy? Why didn't Ariel just write Prince Eric a note? You're all amazing. Ursula took her voice and all of her pens, leaving her with a single, unsharpened pencil, which Scuttle told her was called a twartledink, and she used it, unsuccessfully, for years as a toothbrush. What decides whether a toy gets to be alive or not? There are some Legos on the ground in Toy Story 2, and they aren't alive. The video game system that Rex is playing isn't alive. Why not? Seems pretty unfair to me. Day after Tom Aromati walks from Washington to New York in about 3 days in conditions that are killing people wrapped up in houses, or something. It doesn't make any sense anyway. Then again, not much does in that movie. A library's timber doors also manages to stop a tsunami that has knocked down skyscrapers too. Fast and Furious 6, in the final scene, where they are chasing a plane on a runway, is about 15 minutes long. Is the runway 30 miles long? The math has been done on that somewhere. It'd have to be something like 26 miles long, based on the take-off speed of the plane and time passed in the scene. Lucky for them, they brought it down right at the end of the runway. Edit, 28. 75 miles IMGA. Compod 7 kilometers per hour. JPG. Apparently. As someone who's read the books, I can imagine that the mirror in Harry Potter is a massive plot hole for people who haven't read the books. He gets given it in Order of the Phoenix by Sirius, and it's part of a pair. They are two-way, so that they can still communicate whilst Harry is at Hogwarts. But it's not explained in the films at all. He just suddenly has it in the Deathly Hallows. One of the biggest, most glaring plot holes in the movies is that they never truly explain exactly who Mooney, Wormtail, Padford, and Prongs are. They sort of touch on it in Pioa, but after that it's dropped. My friend, who is a non-book reader, had no clue that Harry's father was Prongs. Edit, I get it, I ducked up. It's not a plot hole. Thank you. It always infuriated me because there was a perfect spot for it at the very end of Pioa when Lupin is leaving, and I think he kind of sums everything up there in the books, and he just doesn't say it. I understand saving time in a movie, but it would have taken maybe 30 seconds for Lupin to say, "Your father, Sirius and I made that map, you know. He was Prongs." etc. while panning over the map or something, and it would have given the movie a nice wrap up. Yet then they expect the viewers to have figured it out somehow. Otherwise Harry is just shouting gibberish at Snape in OOP. Not to mention that there was no indication that Harry himself ever figured it out. This is for both the book and the movie, and it is completely possible that I've just misunderstood something. But in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Harry and Dumbledore are in the cave and Dumbledore has to drink the potion in the goblet that makes thirsty and delirious. Harry tries to fill the cup, but it is charmed to not refill through the spell, that the only way to fill it is by dipping it into the Lake of Inthry. What I don't understand is why Harry didn't just do the Aguamenti spell directly into Dumbledore's mouth, or into his own hand, or anywhere other than the charmed goblet. I guess it isn't a huge plot hole, but a lot could have been avoided in their favor. In Star Wars the original trilogy, there is a scene where Obi-Wan and Yoda are discussing Luke and how his lineage means he is the only one who can stop Vader. Then Yoda tells Obi-Wan that there is another, obviously referring to Leia. But in episode 3, Obi-Wan is there when Luke and Leia are born. There is no way he would forget something that important. Why the duck do the military guys in Independence Day roll their eyes at Randy Quaid when he tells them about how anxious he is to kick some alien, but after being abducted by them? Like it's some far-fetched idea he was abducted by aliens. You mother ducks are literally fighting aliens right now. The Last Jedi, when Finn is driving as fast as he can towards the big cannon during the last battle, an act that would have cost his life. Rose turns back to the base, then changes her mind and loops back all the way around to knock Finn out of the way. If Finn is driving as fast as possible, then how does Rose turn around twice and loop all the way around and still catch up to him? And then he drags Rose all the way back to the cave without the First Order firing at them. Plot armor to the extreme. Just a minor thing in Captain America Civil War that has bothers me, and I haven't ever seen anyone mention. Cap and Bucky take off from the airport in a Quinjet headed for Siberia from Germany. Tony is left to presumably await emergency medical assistance for Rhodes. The rest of Cap's squad is arrested instead of escaping, processed and sent to the raft. Meanwhile Iron Man goes to the hospital with Rhodes and has a chat with Vision and Black Widow. Tony then travels to the raft prison and talks to the captured members of Cap's team. Sam reveals that Cap and Bucky are heading to Siberia. Tony decides to help and takes off. And arrives like 10 minutes after Cap somehow. Not a movie, but it's always bothered me that Monica loses her dream wedding dress in return for Chandler getting his wishy to have the Swing Kings as their wedding band, yet it is 100% not the Swing Kings playing at their wedding. I think all old sitcoms have irritating things like this because they just didn't anticipate Netflix binge watching on a large scale. The amount of plot holes and continuity errors in that show will drive you crazy if you think about it too much. I noticed a lot of them, but for some reason the one that bothered me the most is that one time where Joey refers to his Adam's apple as Joey's apple, stating he always thought they are named after the person. But earlier in the show's timeline he says something about dating a girl that had the biggest Adam's apple. No Joey, you said you didn't know they are all called Adam's apple at that point. Santa in Christmas movies. The adults never believe in him, but within the movie he is the one who delivers all the presents. Why do the parents never seem to question where all of the presents came from? Goldeny. Trevor Lynn steals money from the Bank of England only to enter the UK and cause what Bond calls a worldwide financial meltdown, which would render what Trevor Lynn just stole worthless. In Gremlins, you aren't supposed to feed them after midnight, but when can you start feeding them again? It's never clarified, and it's technically always after midnight. The Dark Knight. A school bus drives out of a busted hole in the bank and just blends in with a line of other school buses on a busy city street. The Shape of Water. Octavia Spencer's character is never informed that amphibian man has human emotions, etc. But when Elisa tells her that she ducked him, she's cool with it for some reason. Same with Richard Jenkins' character. He sees the creature bite his cat's head off, and in the next scene he catches them post-coitus, and seems to think it's great. As far as either of those characters know, Elisa has just ducked an animal, and they're perfectly fine with it. In The Dark Knight, when the city of Gotham is hours away from being destroyed, Batman finds the time to make a painting of the bat signal on a bridge out of gasoline that Commissioner Gordon lights up. That would taken hours to do when, and why did he do that? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Doom lures Roger out of the hidden room. No tune can resist the old shave and a haircut bit. Methodica, you're a toon. Your weasels are toons. I don't see a single one of you even twitch. Duck you. Not sure if it's a popular movie, but Final Destination 3, the roller coaster one. In the vision, the straw that breaks the camel's back is the video camera. It falls onto the track, causes the hydraulics to break, and the roller coaster to crash. However, the guy with the video camera gets off the ride when the girl freaks out, taking his video camera with him. With no video camera, the ride should just carry on as it has been and everyone should be safe. But no, somehow the damn thing crashes anyway. In so many movies when there is some huge problem because of a simple misunderstanding, the entire plot of so many movies would be completely unraveled by a brief explanation. Susan, I wasn't cheating on you. I was performing CPR on a dying person. Apostrophe. What was the point of the whole plot of Goblet of Fire? Apparently, there was a big scheme to get Harry entered into the Tree Wizard tournament and advance to the final round so he would touch the trophy and get Portkey to the graveyard where they could resurrect Voldemort. But they've got a guy on the inside who managed to outsmart, kidnap, and impersonate the best aura in the business while remaining undetected by some of the most powerful wizards in the world. There had to be a more direct way to handle it. Why not just turn Harry's toothbrush into a portkey? Surely that would have been easier than sneaking his name into the cup and rigging the competition every step of the way, wouldn't it? In Star Wars The Phantom Menace you see Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon use force speed at the beginning of the movie to escape Droidicus, but later in the movie, when Obi-Wan is trying to catch up to the duel between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon, he doesn't use his force speed at all. I won't say anymore for the sake of spoilers, but there's no reason he shouldn't have just used force speed to catch up. Edit. Yes, I know the movie is 2 decades old. I probably didn't need a spoiler warning, but I just like to be careful. That's not even the point of the post. This isn't a beach. This is a bathtub. No one would say this. They would obviously realize that they are at a beach and just go with the flow. In a universe full of almost sentient and incredibly capable robots, why, in the name of all things holy, would you not destroy an escape pod? Because there's no life forms aboard. Family Guy said it best Yautu. Buach Z3Z RKKA, T equals 5M3S. Star Wars, Movies 1-3 It's clear that EMP grenades exist and are extremely effective against droids. It's a significant plot point in the Clone Wars cartoon series. Why the hell doesn't every clone trooper and soldier carry them? In Back to the Future Marty returns to a timeline where there was a 17-year-old Fortune Marty who grew up in a loving, functional household with capable parents and had his whole life ahead of him. Unfortunate Marty did not merge with Fortunate Marty. He drove up in car. Fortunate Marty didn't geo anywhere. The logical extension of BTTF rules holds that Fortunate Marty slowly faded away from his bed into the oblivion of non-existence the moment Unfortunate Marty drove into his timeline. Maybe he was awake and watched it happen, horrified. Then he broke it, slept in Fortunate Marty's bed, impersonated him in front of a family he'd never met, and presumably had sex with Jennifer, who had never actually met him before that day. So basically, if your life is going great, you might, with no way to prevent it and no warning, get utterly wiped out of existence and replaced by a copy from a shitty timeline who takes over your life and everyone cheers because he's the underdog. You don't just have to worry about your shitty past coming back to haunt you. You have to worry about alternate versions of you with a shitty past you know nothing about jumping in, dissolving your body, and stealing your entire life. And man, throughout the whole movie they interchange between him being as light as an ant or as heavy as a human. He jumps off the bathtub and breaks a tile yet can stand on a man's shoulder without him knowing. What bugged me more is that they say the shrinking works by shrinking the space between his atoms, therefore making him more dense. This means that theoretically he would always be as heavy as a human. But whatever, that's not my point. My point is, with that in mind, how the duck does he geo subatomic for the end of the Duckine movie? Going subatomic, such a huge plot point that comes up on multiple occasions throughout the story, yet it makes no goddamn sense. Batman has all these wild gadgets, a vehicle that is built like a ducking tank, military technology, etc. And no one suspects it to be the richest guy in the city? Any movie where the character is driving and instantly finds parking directly in front of their building in New York. Empire Strikes Back. How long was Luke training with Yoda while the others were on the Falcon? Because it seemed like the Hoth to Bespin trip was only a few days at most, but when Luke decides to leave to save them his training is almost done. Edit. Got the name of a planet wrong. It could have been weeks or months. Remember, the Falcon's hyperdrive was broken, so they had to travel slowly. If anything, the plot hole is how it didn't take them years or decades. to get a Bespin without a hyperdrive, and the fan suggestion is that the Falcon had a slower backup hyperdrive. In National Treasure 2 they never disproved his ancestor was a traitor by finding the gold. How the hell did Batman survive the fall from his penthouse in The Dark Knight? He caught Rachel and then fell straight down.